Hello, today we're going to unpack the hardest verb tense in the entire Spanish language, the past perfect subjunctive. If you're watching this, congratulations. You've made it probably to the very end of your high school or college Spanish grammar learning. This is as hard as it gets. Well done, and thank you for learning another language and being part of our multilingual society. All right, I'm going to keep these notes brief, and I want to encourage you to pause whenever you need to take notes. You ready? All right. First, let's start with our big idea. Both in Spanish and English, there are two categories of verb tenses. We have our regular verb tenses like present, past, and future, and then we have perfect tenses. Perfect means that it's using a helping verb, some version of have as a helping verb. Now, today we're doing the past perfect subjunctive, which means we're going to see it in the past, had done, but it's also subjunctive, which means we're going to be using it in the latter half of a sentence where there is uncertainty, or as an if clause where there is uncertainty in the if clause. All right, so big idea with all the perfect tenses, we're going to start with our verb haber as a helping verb. And since this is past subjunctive, we need haber in the past subjunctive. Those forms are hubiera, hubieras, hubiera, hubiéramos, hubierais, and hubieran. So hypothetically, you could say yo hubiera, which would mean I had, but it doesn't mean anything by itself. We're going to need another verb after it, like I had gone, yo hubiera ido, but even that won't make sense. We need some uncertainty, like she wanted me to have gone. Ella querría que yo hubiera ido. So that's what we got to build up to. All right, so we're going to start with this. Hubiera, hubieras, hubiera, hubiéramos, hubierais, and hubieran. Then we're going to have our past participles, which I think you probably know pretty well by now. So for AR verbs is ado, ER verbs is ido, leer, caer, oír, get the accent on the ido. And then we have our irregulars. I suspect you know these. Hacer is hecho, decir, dicho, ver, visto, escribir, escrito, poner, puesto, abrir, abierto, cubrir, cubierto, describir, descrito, freír, frito, romper, roto, resolver, resuelto, morir, muerto, satisfacer, satisfecho, volver, vuelto, devolver, devuelto, and descubrir, descubierto. All right, now we got to put that in a context of past tense uncertainty. Let's take a look at what that might look like. Yo quería que tú hubieras comprado la casa cerca de la mía. Nadie dudaba que Jaime hubiera ganado el partido. ¿Quiénes sospechaban que yo hubiera estado en la televisión? Nosotros temíamos que Pablo hubiera leído la novela. So to have, I wanted you to have bought the house next to mine. No one doubted that Jaime had won the game. Who all suspected that I had been on TV? And we feared that Pablo had read the novel. All right. We can also use these within the context of an if clause. It might actually be more common. So I'm going to give you the would. I want you to come up with a creative answer that does the if, which is the past perfect subjunctive. So, mi familia habría comprado un perro nuevo si. My family would have bought a new dog if. Yo habría sacado 100% en mi examen de matemáticas si. I would have gotten 100% on my math test if. Mis amigos habrían estado en la televisión si. My friends would have been on TV if. Mis amigos y yo habríamos viajado a México si. My friends and I would have traveled to Mexico if. And nadie se habría sorprendido si. No one would have been surprised if.